my name is Kyyah, and I am the owner of CareerStrategist.com. So I just started my business, and in order to get things going, I wanted to kind of give a YouTube video, a little bit of background about what exactly it is that I'm trying to do here. So I started Career Savage because when I was in college, I felt as though my advisors weren't really giving me the information I needed when it came to looking for jobs while in college, or even looking for jobs after college. They didn't really give you any, or me personally, any background information as what it is exactly I needed to do. I graduated with a bachelor's in pre-med and a minor in psychology. So, just to kind of dive into things, I have an Instagram page, feel free to check it out, Career Savage, and then I also have my website, www.careersavage.com. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Okay, so the first tip I have is looking for a job after college. These are the things that your advisors don't tell you. You pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college and get that degree, but they don't tell you when you should start looking for a job, where to look for a job, how to do it. And the number one tip I can give you is to start looking for a job 6 months to a year before graduation. I know it sounds absolutely insane, but the market is super, super competitive no matter what your industry is. It's very competitive, and there are people who have masters who are willing to work for a lower amount of dollars, so it makes it really hard for people with just their undergraduate degree to get a job in their field. So, looking 6 months to a year in advance, creating those relationships with different HR personnel or whoever is going to hire you is the number one tip I can give you. I was looking for about, I want to say eight months before I graduated. I was looking for a job. And I got a job immediately after graduation because I went to a career fair, but it wasn't in the, financial bracket that I really wanted to be in. So as I was at that job, I kept looking for other ones, but because I looked a year in advance, 6 months to a year in advance, I was able to get a job immediately after graduation. And then looking for jobs while I was working, I was able to get a job in the exact financial bracket that I wanted to be in 6 months after graduating. So, time is really a virtue. Spend time looking while you are in school, because that is the best way to guarantee that you will get a job after. Number 2, so experience. It's so funny. I saw this meme on Twitter where it was like, oh, when you're applying for a job and they say 10 years of experience, and it was a whole bunch of infants in like construction hats and stuff. It's really unfortunate, but a lot of your advisors don't tell you what jobs you should be working in college. So I've seen so many people who are biology majors or engineer majors, and they're working at like Target or a grocery store, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what people don't know is while you're in school, that part-time job that you have, you can have a job in your field. If you're a business major, you could be at Target trying to move up towards manager. That is business. And then after graduation, you could go work for a corporate at Target because you had that connection. If you're in biology, you should try and get a certification. I was a pharmacy tech when I was in college, so I was able to get into the pharmaceutical industry immediately after college, a lot sooner than other people. So experience is really a big thing, whether you're volunteering. Getting paid for it obviously is always better, but look for jobs while you're in school that apply to your degree. And I feel advisors really, really do fail at giving you that kind of information. Number 3 is to use a recruiter when you are applying for jobs. So one tip that I always give my clients is post your resume on Career Builder, post your resume on Indeed, post it on ZipRecruiter. Go on LinkedIn and start networking with different recruiters in your field. Nowadays, a lot of companies, big companies, Boeing, Amgen, I can't really think of any right off the top of my head, but a whole bunch of companies really do like to use recruiters. And one of the reasons they do is because if they hire someone on as a contract worker, they save so much money, and it's good for millennials. So if you work with a recruiter and you do get placed in a contract job, it's not like you have a family immediately you need to take care of. Contract roles are a lot harder for people like my mother or, one of your parents because they have children. But as an undergrad, working with recruiters, I can say, is almost a sure way to get the job that you want in your industry. And again, start networking with them 6 months to a year in advance. 4, I don't believe that advisors really are transparent with people as how much they really are going to make after graduation. I think a lot of people who do graduate expect to be making between 75 to 80 grand or 60 to 80 grand immediately after college, and realistically, that's just not what it is. Unless you have that experience that you could have gained, my tip number 2. Unless you have that experience, you're really not going to be making that kind of money. Even with the vast amount of experience I did have in the pharmaceutical industry, immediately after college, I was probably making $15 to $17 an hour, and that's not where I wanted to be. It was 6 months after that I was able to get the job in the pharmaceutical industry in that bracket. So, I think it's good to be realistic with yourself. If you don't have that much experience, that's totally okay. But you should understand that you will be in that $15 to $20 an hour range, or $15 to $20 an hour range immediately after college. And then after a year of that experience and you've mastered your position, you can then go into making $60,000 to $85,000 or even more, depending on your industry, $60,000 to $85,000 a year. So I think it's really important to understand what you're worth. Number 5, my last tip, I would say that when you're applying out of state, for example, let's say someone went to school in Boston and they are moving back to Texas to their home. Do not put your Boston address on your resume. I see so many mistakes like this. People think because they are living, they have an apartment senior year and they're living in Boston or wherever they're going to school, that is their address that they should be applying to when really they want to get a job in Texas. The minute a recruiter or an HR person or who the employer sees that you are far away, you are too expensive for them automatically. They're going to think that they have to pay for moving expenses. They're going to think that they are going to have to pay for relocation services, or they automatically think that, depending on the state, that you're going to ask for more money. So putting the address that is closest to the job you are applying for is the best tip that I can give. And I feel like it's not something that people do on purpose. I think most of the time people just forget to update their resume and they're just applying, or posting their resumes on all these websites. So now you have your resume on all these platforms and you're applying for a job in Texas. And on your resume, it says that you still live in Boston. So it just makes it really complicated, and it really does hurt your efforts of applying for a job, and you may not even realize that you're doing it. Me personally, I made that mistake. I was so eager to look for a job that I was applying with my Connecticut address, not realizing that I did not even want to live in Connecticut anymore. I wanted to come back home to Los Angeles, and it just made it really, really difficult. So that was my last tip. I know I kind of buzzed through it really, really fast. I didn't want to bore anyone with this information. But I really do hope you all check out my website, www.careersavage.com. I will be trying to post tips, videos every week and a half, every week or so. Comment below if there's anything that you want tips on. Comment below if you want information about myself or why I even started doing this, why I care. Feel free to leave any comments. I'm always up for constructive criticism. And hopefully you stay tuned and check my Instagram page, Career Savage. I will put all my information down below, my email, my website, my social media platforms. And I hope to make another video soon. Bye!